Meeting is live. We're live now. Let's start with this beautiful song. I just felt like it. I don't know why. With Dr. Manisha, I think she's doing that. This song is for you, Dr. Manisha. How many of us know this song?
Think about the generations and to say we want to make it a better place for our children and our children's children, so that they know it's a better world for them, and think if they can make it a better place.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And a place much brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. In this place, you feel there's no hurt or sorrow. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. Make a little space, make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. If you want to know why, there's a love that cannot lie. Love is strong, it only cares for joyful giving. If we try, we shall see. In this bliss we cannot feel. There are dreams, stop existing and start living. Then it feels that always love enough, always growing. Make a better world, make a better world. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me.
Okay, so Dr. Manisha, I was feeling very emotional with this movement, the way it's going, the way it's coming together. 50 mums are reaching. You are the 42nd mom. I have had some beautiful stories that are coming up that I've lived with interviews. So thank you so much. And I don't know why I did this spontaneously. It just came out and I just said I wanted to listen to this song. So I shared it with all of you. Welcome, Dr. Manisha. It's a pleasure having you here because your work is all about healing. And I would want you to introduce yourself, because I always say the person who lives the story tells the story the best. So welcome, and please go ahead and introduce yourself, Doc.
Thank you, Shikha, so much for inviting me over here. And when I heard about your project, I wanted to be into the project because I felt somewhere I feel I connect with you. So the feelings that you have, the thoughts and emotions that you expressed while the beginning of this project, I felt here somehow I feel I am that mom as well. So I am a mom, but then I'm a gynecologist, so that way also.
Right.
I am always, all the time. I have mothers coming to my clinic. I consult them, and I'm seeing them as well in their delivery process.
Right.
So my journey, Shikha, when I became a gynecologist, I got this degree from KM Mumbai. I was just a gynecologist. Okay, so I was just a doctor. But then slowly, as my journey continued, and I got a lot of teachings from my gurus, a lot of things, a lot of researches I did. And I found that it is not just the medical thing that is important. So allopathy medicine, yes, but then delivery cannot be just medical. It has to have that humane touch. It has to have understanding the woman, what she goes through, making her confident, making her realize what are the different things happening in her own body. So my journey began as just a doctor helping women to deliver. But then as I went ahead, I added a lot of things to it. I started building up them as well. So that was one thing that, and what I feel is when I started doing this, my journey also became easier. My job as a doctor became easier because I was seeing women so much empowered. They knew what was what was happening in their own body. So they were well informed and they knew the science behind it. They knew the spirituality behind it. So they were so much in tune. They had already bonded with the child inside in the womb. The mother and the father were together, had bonded well. So, it was such a wonderful family coming up, and then they are going ahead with that event of delivery, very much prepared, very much confident, and knowing what to expect next. So, my journey has become very much easy. I feel at peace. I feel good that सिर्फ मेरा काम नहीं है. The mothers are so much involved in the process. So that gives me as well an empowered feeling. So this was a little bit about, most of my work is obstetric. So that is pregnancy, pre-pregnancy, delivery, post-delivery. Gynac is a little less.
Right. So that's why this project should be with you, because you are all about bringing life to this world. And my connection with you is also because of the fact that you believe in natural healing, you believe in natural reversals, you believe in uplifting the spirit of the mother. You believe that every mother deserves to know what's happening, every mother deserves all the love that she needs, and at the same time all the guidance as a mentor before she delivers the baby. And that's why you had to be here in this project, because yes, you're a gynecologist, which is amazing, but you're also very spiritually aligned, is of whatever I know of you through Aarti and my brother-in-law. But also I've spoken to you and I know where you're coming from, and the whole upliftment of mothers is what this project is all about. And when I spoke to you and about pictures, and I spoke to you about showing up, so I always said that mothers don't show up, but you are showing up, and you are showing ways to people. But still there's an apprehension to come up online, still there's an apprehension about self-image, there's apprehension about what I would look like, and how do I overcome that. And that is the pain which is very, very real. It's not very painful for some, but it's very painful for a lot of people, because the more I'm getting into this project, the more I'm realizing that every mother has a different reason why she doesn't want to come up. And the fact that you also overcame that, you started coming on Zoom, you started coming on live, and very nicely and easily you also accepted, yes, I'm guilty of the fact that I do not very easily come in front of the camera. And what I realized, Dr. Manisha, was that this camera, when it points at us, if I had to do an animation, I will see chats going on the side of the camera that we are facing. Okay, this one will say this one will comment like this, well, I'm not like this, I'm not okay, I'm not this. And that itself consumes so much time that the whole fun of the memory just goes out. The whole fun of that 1 second picture goes out. And even knowing today it's a digital camera, we can always delete it. We don't even want to see that person that will come up in front of us, like for that 1 second, right? So tell me more about that. What do you feel about it? And then we'll move on to talking about how this surrounds mothers post-pregnancy. It doesn't have to be camera, but beyond camera, the image, what are they talking, what's happening to them, stretch marks, other things, so much is happening. And that charter comes to you, and I think in a day at least 30 to 40 times when you're speaking to them. So hats off to you that you patiently listen to it and resolve it spiritually. So we'll go on to that, but first let's talk about you. What is it that you think pulls you back from the camera? What makes you feel that, no, I don't want to take my picture?
Because I think, Chika, it all came from my childhood. So I was not such a confident person when I was in my school. I was like, I used to keep mum, I used to keep my questions to myself. Somewhere I had that, I don't know what kind of image, but I was not so much socializing kind of thing. I felt somewhere those negative complexes I always had in my mind. I don't like my name. Still, I don't like my name. So that is one of it. Several things must be. I didn't like my surname. I didn't like that I was growing up I was not growing up in a huge city. I was growing up in a small town. So I didn't like that. So several things came together, which I think built up that kind of image which I started carrying right from my childhood. It went on from college and अभी कुछ साल पहले. But मतलब लोगों को लगता है कि come on, you're a doctor and you're a gynecologist. What holds you back? What can be what less can you feel about yourself?
Right.
But you know, and I know, externally what people feel about us, but what goes on inside me is I know myself. So that was all at the back of my mind. In a few years, I had shared this with my mother. She was like, "Huh, you didn't like your own name? You never told me this." तो वो सब मन में था, पर पता नहीं क्यों मुझे ऐसे लगता था कि ये नहीं, मुझे वो नाम मुझे कितना अच्छा सूट होता, वो मेरी फ्रेंड का नाम, so I was more into a little bit in my childhood.
Right.
Then I've shared this with you as well. So the first time that I had to go in front of a group, okay, so college में going in front of a professor or anything, that was not so much difficult. But going in front of a group of people, of couples, wherein I have to deliver a talk, and although I knew the subject, but then doing the talk, looking at the slides and going with the flow, never had this kind of training any time in my life.
Right.
You should have seen that first one. It was like hell. I was totally shut off, and I was like, मैं ये नहीं कर पाऊंगी, मैं ये नहीं कर सकती. उसके बाद फिर थोड़ा रोना धोना भी हुआ. Like I was, and then I felt, what am I doing? I mean, I just have to be in the flow. I don't have to worry about what people are looking at me, whether people are it is just that I need to understand that what I'm saying people are understanding. I have to make the topic as easy as possible and see that it is getting delivered to them as much effortlessly as possible.
Right.
Dhire dhire I changed my own mindset. As I told, as you know, my the background where I went into spirituality and got those training.
Right.
Before I tell people to start loving themselves, before I tell them it is okay for this, it is okay for that, I think I should be going through that first.
Right.
So there's where my journey of taking myself somewhere else and not getting stuck by these images that I had held in my life, in my own mind. So slowly by slowly, I started recovering, and I found that I'm feeling more free now.
Right.
I am feeling that whatever it is that I hold in my mind, and what is it that I would want to see in my patients or the people who come for those classes, I'm saying that it is just happening so easily.
Right.
It is happening very productivity has increased. My speech, my talk, what is it that I need to convey? I'm able to do a lot of things together. So ये मेरा block नहीं जाता तो ये नहीं होता. ये definitely.
True.
And then similarly, the same way that I felt about myself, I felt the women that I'm seeing day and out. Planning, pregnant, and then of course post-delivery, wherein women go so much into that low self-image kind because they see themselves in the mirror and they see, what was I? I was in such wonderful shape and I was wearing those jeans, or what kind of skin I had. And look at this now, those stretch marks and the loose skin, and I'm just a feeding machine right now. I don't get time for myself. So women do go through that phase, and they do share it when they see me. And I keep on telling them that this is a phase and you just enjoy this. You wanted to be a mother. Hannah, the baby did not want to come into your life. You wanted the baby to come into your life. So when you have invited this, enjoy this. And I tell them that it is very much possible to again reverse whatever you went through these for 2 years.
Right.
With good food and, with good thoughts and good sleep and all the good things. And they do believe me, and many women really are very, very sincere. They really go through all those things. They do everything that I recommend, and they find कि हाँ ये possible है. तो अगर करीना कपूर को possible हुआ तो मुझे भी possible है.
Yeah.
That types.
Yes, and we have Frances here joining us late night in her country, and she doesn't know who Kareena Kapoor is. She's an actress here, Frances. Frances is one of our pillars. Beautiful, beautiful mom as well, and she comes and lights up the chats whatever time she gets.
Wow.
Thank you, Frances, for being here, and other mothers probably will join in.
Thank you, Frances.
Yes, and So yesterday I was interviewing a designer, and so I was telling her that I totally love her because I've known her for 14 years, and I only go to her because I feel like she's very inviting, she's very motherly, she's very nurturing. I like, you know, if I go with any kind of a like image that, oh, I'm probably a broad shoulder person, or I am this or I am that, and she would, you know, just turn it around and say, it's not that you are like odd in any way. What you're wearing is not for you. Like, what you're wearing is not for you. What you're wearing, that cloth doesn't fall well on you. Maybe you need another kind of a cloth. Maybe you need a little cotton, and maybe you need a little chanderi. So when I approached, I didn't have a chance to share my work with you. For 20 years I'm a photographer, and when I entered my shoots, and I was not a mother that time. Of course, I went through this whole self-image myself. But when I was not a mother, I was told that I see people's inner light. I can capture it very well. I always went without talking to mothers in advance, because I knew they will just surround me with all the judgments, and I will only view what they're telling me not to view, because they will say, don't see this, and I'll be like, I am not supposed to see that. Okay, don't see that. I will definitely see that, because I'm not supposed to see that. So I entered and I nurtured. Like, my shoots are like meditation to me, doc, and things dissolve around me when I shoot. I don't know. I've never been able to explain this. That even like when I had my child and I went for a shoot, even my child ceases to exist for those 3 hours when I was shooting. Those things dissolved, and what came out was this light in those photo shoots which I did. And blessed I was that everybody only came back and said, wow, I look beautiful. So for me, the biggest compliment was not that somebody else said that they look beautiful, or I said they look beautiful. They said they look beautiful. And that was what I was providing. Like, this designer was providing, that I would wear her outfit and say, I would look beautiful. Similarly, what you are doing with your work. So why I said this is, as a photographer, I am doing that. As a designer, she's doing that. And so I kept on telling him, there's nothing wrong with you, you're just taking a wrong angle, there's nothing wrong with you, you're taking a bad light, don't be so hard on yourself. What you're saying is, there's nothing wrong with you, you're just a mom, don't be so hard on yourself. The designer is saying, there's nothing wrong with you, you're just wearing a wrong cloth, right? And we don't realize this, and this is what the realization which is coming with this, that how beautifully, when you approach people with spirituality and you come with them with no judgment, you always say, there's nothing wrong with you, it's just a technical glitch or some technical issue right now, and that's it. And that's what I love about what you just said, that it's a motherhood, just embrace it, it's this phase, and then you take it from there. So so putting this in perspective, putting this, you have many stories of women and mothers, and many ways that mothers need help. What is that support that one, spiritually and mentally, that mother needs, who's a would-be mom? And then you can move on to speaking about a mom who's delivering, and then a mom who has a 2-year-old child and coming out of breastfeeding, and a mom who's moving on with whatever she's gained, and then she moves on. So just let's talk about the stages of a mom through an eye of a gynecologist.
Yeah. So there are several stories of women, who became mothers, or who were in the journey of motherhood, and gaining all the tools and the techniques that we offer to them, so the mind techniques, so the knowledge part and everything. So implementing everything together, and then really shining up, right? So many people are like, they know the information, they take all the information from me, but they're not using it in their life. Right. So these are the women who use it in their life because they really want to see themselves somewhere up the ladder.
Right.
So I'm here and I would want to improvise maybe on my strength, my flexibility, my mood swings, my sleep issues, my digestion issues. So they would want to work upon it. So there are several mothers who are like super confident, and it's like when I take them to when they come to the hospital for their delivery, all the other staff in the hospital, my assistant doctors, the sisters, go and visit them in the room to see how confident this mother is. How come she is not talking about pain? How come whenever we go for a checkup, she has a smile on her face and she never comes up with complaints? Because they have seen mothers who like, dukh raha hai, kuch do na, yeah, why is it so much painful for me only, that kind of the me syndrome. And they see these kind of women who are like super much in control of the process. So they are doing all the labor positions. They are into that controlled breathing. The husband is well trained as well. So
Yeah.
he is with them total time until the baby is out. In fact, the fathers are there holding the baby for the first time, and it's not the mother who's going to hold the baby. You know, that kind of training or that kind of real bonding is like, you should come and see in the labor room, Shikha. The bonding that goes in between the husband and the wife. He's there with her, holding her hand, telling her it is okay, and telling her how to breathe, reminding her to do the positions using a chair or using the exercise ball, telling her, okay, fine, हो रहा है, अभी हो जाएगा, कुछ चाहिए, पानी लाओ, and all. It's so wonderful to see both of them working together.
I'm blessed that my first, and Mike is here. Mike is here from Poland right now, and he is my cheerleader, and I feel very happy when he's in the chat. So he's one of our cheerleaders. We have men doing cheerleading here for this project to end on time. So thanks, Mike, for being there. But I was absolutely blessed. So I went through a cesarean, but I had like Rohit standing by me, and like for him, it was a very scary thing to even get into an operation theater. When I remember that he was not, I was there, and he kept on knocking, and my doctor said, why is he knocking? He's like, he really wants to come in, and I could see him peeping through the thing, and he's like, he wants to come in for the cesarean as well. And I so remember that scene because he's sitting there, standing there, knocking like that, and the doc is like, he just said that if he sees blood, he's going to faint. And but he still said, no, I will come in, I'll try to be brave, I will come in. And I was like, finally I was like, thank God I'm not surrounded by these 13, 14, 15 in an operation theater, because I'd never been to a hospital even before that, you know. So I was totally frozen with, I don't know what was happening to me. I was being put down, I was being put up, I was being put injections, I was putting this, and things were happening. And there he was, and he came quietly and he sat next to me, and he just was holding, because there was so much happening on my head that he only had a finger on me, and that was his support. And said, and I was trying to crack jokes because I was talking about photography at that time. He was just thinking, this girl will not stop talking even now. But yes, I see, I understand what you're saying when fathers give that support and that
See,
bond.
even you yourself sharing this right now, it's like it's there in your memory and it will never go. You know, you
Never.
feel goosebumps right now as well when you're saying this. You know, he being there with me and all that unfamiliar surroundings and unfamiliar people around, but he being there, that was so much. I'm sure your stress hormones must have come down, your pulse must have regularized at that
I felt
time.
supported. I definitely felt supported. Suddenly being alone, I felt supported, and that was my first baby. In the second baby, somehow Bangalore does not allow during cesareans to men to come in, and I again, like I knew that because it was there for the first time, and the second time it took longer for me to come out of the operation theater. I also knew that this one man's like heart rate is equally going up like mine is. And I remember that it's again a very sweet moment, and I'm saying it for the first time, is that I had given him my rubber band before leaving, because they take off everything, right? So even the rubber band had to go off. And he was wearing that rubber band through and through, didn't come out. And you know, when I came out, I just held his hand when he held the baby. He held both my kids for the first time himself. And when I gave it to him, I just touched the rubber band and I smiled. And he's like, I was wearing it through and through, because that was the way he was holding me, and being worried about me. And I'm emotional about it, because I was just like, for him, wearing the rubber band was something that my wife went inside, and I'm not with him, with her. And I think that really supports a lot of women. So
Yeah.
when you are talking about talking to husbands and fathers, and that support even at that stage is so amazing. And I'm totally grateful to you for whatever you are doing in this world to uplift people to that level, that this is very important. And in India, in a country like India, this is a new era that's coming in. It was not there earlier, and hats off to you for that. And when the baby comes out, and then there's another phase, let's talk about that what
Yeah.
happens to the mother when the baby is out now, and she's into a totally new phase, and the baby is out, and the new chatter starts.
The new chatter starts. So just after the baby is out, the mother is like, whoosh. And the first thing that she wants to hear from me, what is it? Is it a boy or a girl?
Yeah.
You know, but because it's not about I want a boy or I want a girl. It's just about that curiosity you have been holding for 9 complete months, or maybe before that as well. Even for me, like I have two boys, one is 14 and 12. But I had told strictly to my radiologist friend that please do not tell me whether it's a boy or a girl.
In our country, letting Mike and Francis know that in our country you're not supposed to
Not
uh,
supposed to.
supposed to
But
tell the
you know,
gender.
me being a doctor and
Of
he was
course,
my
of course.
friend, वो मेरे को बता देता, बोलता क्यों नहीं सुन रही है, सुन ना. No, I said I don't want to hear
Yeah.
because I just want this curiosity and this kind of looking forward to kind of thing to just prolong and then to be wow, okay boy, okay wow, okay girl, whatever it is.
Right.
So the moment the baby is born, the mother wants to see or hear from me, what is it? Is it a boy? Is it a girl? Whatever it's that I say boy or girl, she is like, wow. And then we show the baby to the mother and we keep the baby on the mother's tummy. Father is there besides. So they talk to the baby, they welcome the baby into the world, they stroke the baby's back.
Yeah.
And then starts the journey wherein both of them many times they have tears in their eyes. Okay. See, we had envisioned this kind of baby, and the skin is the same, and the eyes look the same, the hair look the same. I said, okay, Baba. But, you know, I am like I'm seeing whether the baby is breathing well, his heartbeats are good. So as a doctor, I'm into that. But as the mother and the father, they are totally into the process. I've seen several tears flowing down the cheeks, the mother as well as the father.
Yeah.
Many fathers are very sensitive. And I see, Shikha, that father, it's not like the fathers don't want to get included. It is, I think, we women who do not allow them to be getting included. So most of the time, it is the woman who's going to deliver and her mother or her mother-in-law. All the women think. And here in these kind of scenarios, we tell the grandmothers to just sit there, relaxed outside, or just go back to your house. And the father is there. He's like, "मैं सब कुछ कर लूँगा, आप बैठे रहो," types, you know. They are like, wow, what a kind of jamai I have. You know, they are like super impressive at that time. But it's like seriously a wonderful moment. And then the baby, we keep the baby on the mother's chest, you know, for the breast crawl.
Right.
So the babies, they can crawl in the very first moments of their life and they can find their own food. It's like how animals do.
Right.
You know, so even we human babies have that instinct. It is just that we doctors don't allow that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So we are just into hushing up things, cleaning up things, shifting here, taking another one. So we are mostly into the technical part of it. We generally lose the humanity touch. And therefore here, when I train the couple in a way that even if I forget, you know, these are the things that you should be doing. These are the things that you deserve. These are the things that the baby deserves, and the baby is capable. He has this capability. So why not give him that? तो कितनी बार मैं भूलती हूँ और ये मैं भूलती नहीं, ये मेरा काम ही नहीं है, ये तुम लोगों का है, मैंने सब कुछ सिखा दिया है तुमको. So labor room, they are supposed to put a particular music. I never remind them. It is your baby, your pregnancy, your delivery. You want it or no? And they want it. They have a big list written how they want their birth plan to be, and they do remember to carry that piece of music. So background mein wo music chalu hai. So it's a very pleasant kind of environment. There is no stress. I'm talking to her, she's talking to me, a lot of communication going on. Father besides, like we are encouraging her, okay, fine, you're doing great. Continue doing, continue the breathing. Yes, the baby is sliding down. So my job is never ever to take down her confidence. You know, so I'll never tell her, what are you doing? You should be doing this way. This way you will have some problem. The baby will have problem. We never use this kind of language. It's always encouraging. It's always positive, because any negative word the mother hears at that time, I'm sure it's going to cause so much stress to her.
Yeah.
Giving her stress is, I think, the last thing that we do over there.
It's really beautiful, and I'm actually very honored to have you here as with this message in, because we are somewhere, and not to judge any doctors or any hospitals or anybody, we are ourselves as mothers also losing. So I have a mom here who had home delivery 25 years back in Mumbai.
Wow.
And at that time cesareans had really picked up, you know, as in India cesarean was very high, and every other the normal deliveries have come back to India again now, and people like you and other people are actually working very hard to bring it back, to get the confidence that you can do it. But of course, she was in Mumbai, and she belongs to a family that is into yoga, spirituality. In fact, they're very well known now in Mumbai for doing yoga, and so they're the younger group. They're the direct, students of that. And then she said that we went to the doctor, and the first time we were prescribed some vitamins and some tablets, and then we lost the confidence with. And she saying, for me, I came from a scientific background. Like her mother was a scientist, right?
Wow.
And that in itself is amazing because her mother must be in her 70s now, and she's a scientist. So she came from a science background. And I also think that why I'm telling the story is that she told me that my father was a very forward-looking father. He used to make dosas while my mother used to go out, and so my friends and all remembered my father dosas more than they remember my mother's food. So she got married into a spiritual thing, and then they decided to have a home birth. And then this is a scene which will give you, like, again, if you're a spiritual person. And she says, we tried to get one medical student who had just passed out, to say, stand by there in the house in case there's an emergency. We'll try to tell you in, but otherwise just don't tell us anything. Only if you say now we want you in, you take us in, but we will do in Mumbai this delivery at home. And it was a 24-hour labor. And she had her father-in-law rubbing the back, her mother-in-law doing something else, her husband.
Wow.
And she said I was allowed to take as many baths possible, any position, to go anywhere, sit anywhere, stand anywhere, deliver my baby the way I was thinking was comfortable. And we delivered the baby, and even the umbilical cord was cut by the husband.
Wow.
Everything was done by them because they are nature people, and they believe that our yoga and our this can do this like any animal, you just said. And now they actually teach natural birthing concepts to a lot of men. And the second time when they had the baby, it was only her and her husband. Like, they're like, okay, we've done it once, this time it's going to be only me. That's the confidence they had on their body, that's the confidence they had on their spirituality. And for me, I kept on telling her that with this interview, I'm taking it away, that your father-in-law is involved, your mother-in-law is involved, everybody's involved, because it's their baby coming out for them. And the mother is like, not that you sit here, you stand here, you do this. You're like, do whatever it takes, get this baby out just the way you want it.
Yes.
And she's like, for me, it was my baby. It was, I was in charge. And since then, I am in charge of these lives. And I feel even more in control of the fact that I'm a mother. And that's a beautiful mom who's an addition. And it's an amazing story.
Amazing. This is, yeah.
They still do it, and they have a natural birthing classes going on in Mumbai.
Wow. Great.
So this is all, like you said it very beautifully, but I know in many parts of the world, in many parts of the thing, it is not so beautiful. There is a lot of apprehension, there's a lot of fear, and it's only instilled more and more and more by your peers, by your friends, by your, not to worry, scared. Everybody, like I always tell people, when you're expecting, don't go to a woman and ask her how your pregnancy was. That's the first thing you need to do, because every pregnancy is different. You will only get scared by listening to her incidents, right? So let's move on and talk about the fact that when a mother has done, and then she comes to you with more problems adding to her due to stress, because she's become a mother, she's gone through this pain, self-image is lost, confidence is lost, time is lost, everything is on a loss. And then you find her, how does she speak to you? What is the majority of mothers' state of mind when they come to you and say, now post becoming a mom, I'm suffering? What is the suffering there?
Yeah. So many times, sometimes I feel, Shikha, I'm less of a gynecologist, I'm more of a counselor.
Right.
So she's sitting in front of me and she starts speaking about her medical ailments, the sicknesses, the aches and pains. And somehow down the line, she goes about talking everything about her entire day, how much she gets affected by the people around her, the situations that she is into right now, sudden responsibilities which have come up, and she doesn't get time for herself. She doesn't get time to comb her hair. She doesn't know when she's eaten.
I'm guilty of that. You can see probably I'm sitting right now without combing my hair, and my son has just entered.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the life of a mom. Done? Are you done? Okay, you can go. You can go now. So in my lives, my children keep coming in and going, checking on me. So let's go on. Sorry.
But that's how it used to be for me as well, Shikha. So I have my house wherein there are 2 stories. Downstairs I stay, and upstairs we used to conduct those classes, the antenatal classes. And when they were little, they used to come They used to see me talking, acha hai, हाँ इधर ही है, my mother is here, and they used to go back.
Yeah.
Same way as you had. And
Yeah.
I used to just smile at them, and they used to let, okay, fine, hai, माँ घर पे है types, and they used
Yeah.
to go by. I
Yeah.
think that's what your child right now did.
He
You know,
did that, but he usually doesn't do it. So I think he knew who was sitting on the other side, and he knew I better because the counseling will come on the mother only, that this is what you need to do. But when you said she doesn't comb her hair, she has no time to she's in a t-shirt, she's in a so that happens to each and every mom, because honestly there's just no time to even think about yourself.
yeah.
And then you get counseling from front saying, think about yourself. And then there's a thing. So let's hear what you were saying, that she comes and she sits in front of you, and there's this mother who sits in front of you, and what is her
Yeah,
challenge?
so the aches and the pains are not so much physical, is what I when I talk to her for 15-20 minutes, at the end of the talk, I feel that this is not much physical. She does not need painkillers. What she needs is that she takes time for herself, which she is not doing because she feels that she is totally responsible for this new child.
Right.
No one else but she is. So I tried, and then I take the conversation to, I let her know that she is the mother, but she's not just the only primary caretaker. She
Yeah.
has to be trusting other people. This is what we women do not do. Many of us don't do this. I understand the best for this child and no one else.
I'm guilty
I
of
know.
that in the first one for sure.
Yes, every one of us. Even I have gone through this, and now I realize, why was I like that? Why didn't I trust more my husband? Why didn't I trust? Because he had a different way of holding the child. He had a different way of feeding the child. How is it going to match my method?
Right.
So there I tell them, okay, fine, you just leave the child for 2-3 hours and go off from this scene. हाँ, घर से निकल जाओ. Maybe just go to a friend. Maybe don't go anywhere. Just sit down your building के नीचे जाके बैठ जाओ. कहीं नहीं है जाने को तो. हाँ, गार्डन में जाके बैठ जाओ. कहीं टेरेस पे जाके बैठ जाओ. लेकिन घर पे मत रहो जहाँ तुमको you will not be able to hear his voice, his cry, anything. Out of touch is like out of mind. And then silence yourself, do something that you love to do. So little things, I give her these things. Set yourself some timetable, be firm about certain things. सब लोग तुम पे burden डाल रहे हो और तुम करती जा रही हो. क्यों कर रही हो? Some women have this feeling of letting everyone know, I'll take care of everything, the entire house, all the people, I'm responsible. Why are you making yourself responsible? Why don't you remember yourself when you were a few years back, when you were in college or you were doing your job, how free you used to feel, how much you used to listen to songs, maybe see movies. Why aren't you doing all those things?
Right.
People in the family will not tell you, अच्छा चीखा जाओ 4 घंटा थोड़ा आराम कर लो. हाँ, शायद कोई ना बोले, शायद बोले, but why should we wait for people to tell us, take time for yourself? Why don't you go and take rest? These things I have learned. Like, even I was not like this. Now I'm like firm. These are the 2 hours I want to be with myself. I'm preparing some PPT or something like that, and I don't want to be disturbed. So I tell everyone around, these are the things to be done. These are the things to be done. So you will do this, you will do that. I was not like this. So I tell them to delegate things. Don't consider yourself कि तुम्हारे बिना तो कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता.
Right.
है ना?
Also that I don't know why I'm suddenly getting, I feel in energies these days even more. And every time you're speaking something that's relating, I can relate to, and this itch is coming in my back as well. And I never used to believe, I used to think all this is a woo-woo, but I think there is, when you relate to things, either you clinch or something happens, right? But doc, honestly, I was speaking yesterday to this designer, and I'm very mindful of your time as well. We have time. I was speaking to the designer, and I was saying that you meet a particular kind of women, right? And so we make a judgment about them in a particular way. I meet a particular strata of women because I am a particular kind of photographer who has certain, I'm a high-end charging photographer, so I am meeting upper-class women. They have a particular problem, so I understand that because I've been surrounded by that problem. And then you're a gynecologist and you have a particular kind of women coming recommended, same group strata, and then they are so. And then somebody like me who's heading this movement is now thrown with 100 shades of mothers. Now I feel that you can't even make us any general comment on anything, that this is what it is and this is what it is and this is what it is, because I realize as a mother who's coming here not only because she's not taking self-care, but she's coming here because she's had a childhood trauma, childhood sexual abuse, childhood stuff she's carrying. I am a child here who didn't have a mother. I'm carrying that miss, that skip, and I found myself only being taken care only to be a mother that I didn't have, right? By doing that inner work. There's another mother who's coming through the fact that she has everything. She has a corporate job and still everything, and she's not satisfied because she feels spiritually empty. And in all this, I think one band-aid solution that all of us are giving, and it's a discussion I will quickly do before we end up, because you deal with mothers, is self-care. You don't take care of yourself. Self-care. But how? How is she going to do it? How is and there's a mother who's also lost a child. There's a mother who's dealing with rare disease. There's a mother who's dealing with trauma. She's a mother who's dealing with abusive marriages. How? How is only self-care? Self-care is very far. Somebody just said, one of the mothers said, you have to start liking yourself first before loving yourself. Even liking is very far. I feel even realizing that you're in a problem is very far. Yeah. Just dealing with it and even saying that I can get through it, because there are stories of some of the mothers I've interviewed who as kids parted because their mother left the house in different parts of the country and the world, and they were used to sleep on the streets. And one of them, she just said a beautiful thing, that she said, animals on the roads were my friends, because we would try to complete like the wherever space we got, we would use a public toilet to wash ourselves, and then we were left free because our mother was gone, and we would just play with either a squirrel or a dog or anything who was passing by. Now that, and then they were taken to the foster home where cats attacked them the first time they went as sisters, because the government took the mother child away because the mother is so not worthy of taking care of her child, even if she's doing everything. And then that child becomes a mother. Now she comes to you after having a child, because I went through it with my this thing and I resolved it, and I can talk about it today, because I did not even realize that I was covering up my own miss as a the fears that I should not be missing, something should not go wrong with me, like if I miss, maybe he's taken away, he's gone. There are a lot of things that happen. But what I'm saying is that this is the ride, and this is what this movement is trying to do. Then let's open our eyes that it is not one band-aid solution of self-care only. And because you're in this zone, I would just urge to start figuring out more mothers. And as a counselor, if we start going deeper, and this project is teaching me that, doc, that we need to start getting it a little deeper and figure out where is she coming from. Self-care, so she cannot reach only. She cannot understand what you're saying, and that's why a lot of failures also happen, because she doesn't know what care is.
Yes.
Right? She's just putting up this whole thing that I'm in control, but she's totally shattered in pieces. Yes. So that's my finding through this book, doc, and that's why I definitely wanted you to be part of this, because you're a beautiful soul. I've spoken to you. The SSY is an amazing place. You've done a spiritual journey, and all this is shown to me through my camera. So I'm very grateful to my camera as well. If one message you want to give to women and mothers, and I know that yours and my interview has to be longer, but I also don't keep longer, because I want somebody like you to speak up. I want to have conversations. I speak a lot. We can get input a lot. But because you need to move forward to the next seminar, let's talk about that one thing, and then we talk about your dream, and we'll end the interview. What is it that you would want women and mothers across the world, put yourself into not India situation, but mothers across the world who have nuclear families, who do not have family around them, or dealing with different things, what would you like to tell them?
I think I would tell them that don't forget yourself. You're not just a mother.
Yeah.
Mother, they're like totally into it. Yeah. Find out what are the different fields you are interested into. You are not just a mother. You are, so I'm not just a mother. I'm Manisha. So who is that inner one, and what is it that I feel, what is it that I love to speak, what is it that I love to express, and what is it that I'm doing, talking to myself. Several aspects of me are me. It is not just that I am a doctor, it is not just that I am a mother. sort of finding out what is it that I am truly. What is it that I love to do? What is it that I don't like to do? What is it that I would want to do more? Yeah, what do I see myself doing 10 years later?
Right.
Does it give me a sense of satisfaction and contentment?
Right.
Looking myself there 10 years as well as looking myself 10 years from back from here.
Right.
No, I tell them that never ever should there be a moment wherein you feel guilty ki, Are, I should have done this different. That kind of super confidence in yourself and doing everything what you would want to do every moment in your life. So then that contentment feeling is like so much self-empowering kind of, you feel wow, you feel wow about everything about what you're doing professionally, personally, family, because you feel you have put in the 100%. I think whatever phase in your life you are not just a mother anytime.
Yeah.
Isn't it so? But we women in that phase, they take that too much in forefront and they forget all the other things that also need nurturing.
Right.
I think that kind of balance, if we can keep little by little, not like 100% I'm successful, not like that, but somewhere I'm giving okay attention everywhere. So, something like I need to be exercising every day. I need to be sleeping well every day. I need to be putting good food into my system so that the system works beautifully for me.
Yeah.
It's not the medicines and the doctor who's going to help me for this.
Right.
Some basic understanding, and I think keep it simple is also I tell them.
Yeah, I think so.
Keep it really simple. There is no need to really go out and shop every time you are out. There's no need to be splurging upon just because you have money. There's no need to really have a lot of things for your happiness. Whatever
Or
you
feel the
have,
lack. Or feel the lack that you don't have, and
feel
that's
the
why
lack.
you can't raise a child because you don't have this, or you can't raise a child because you don't have this, and that also happens to.
Shikha, these Facebook groups, these women groups, wherein these lots of women are selling kurtis and jewelries. You should see the comments that they get and the kind of business they are doing. Like there are several women who are like buying. Continuously, they are doing that. But somewhere down the line, I don't think that is happiness. I'm sure you would agree with me.
And interestingly, that there's a Japanese saying also, and I'm trying to work on it towards it as well. Is that everything that you own has an energy. So how much can you own and sit with, right? And I'm honestly saying that what happens is when you're raising children and you're totally hands-on, you don't even realize the amount of stuff that is around you is getting cluttered, it's getting located. And then when it's too much, it's even difficult to let go because this whole thing is so much to deal with, right? So there's so many aspects, and then you rightly said that how much can you buy and how much can you figure out. And I used to go on Independence Day and distribute flags when I was younger on the streets, and I used to take my camera out and I used to photograph children. And
Oh,
I somehow always came back and I told my dad that I don't know why their eyes are more lit up than most of the kids that are in our upper strata of this thing. I don't know why. And somehow over the period of time I realized that they're not bogged down by owning anything. Like they don't have things to take care of and get bothered. We have to take care of this also and this also and this also, because half of the time is overwhelming is also because you're first buying, we're creating situation, and then we're taking care of it. So we've added so much work on it that the child itself looks like a big deal to even deal with, because we also have to take care of this particular computer and that thing and that thing and that thing, and you should not break it. And then you
yes.
give that flag to that one child who has nothing. That flag itself becomes a source of happiness, and it's gone also. It's gone out in a day's time because it's the paper thing. So I think as a doctor and as people who are dealing with mothers now, and me and you, all of us will also start realizing that when things start going away, this bile starts coming down, and there are less things to take care of. We are less overwhelmed. We are less overwhelmed because we've not bought a 4,000 rupee spoon for our child, and then it's got lost, and then 5 hours have gone just to look for it, and then we are overwhelmed. Oh, we are a bad mother. We can't take care of it.
Yes.
So
So I think basic understanding is where we need to be putting our mind into. है ना? Cluttering things is going to create stress. As simple as it is. This is
yes,
so
and I'm
simple.
guilty of it as well. I keep saying that this mother journey, like these are things on my mind for last year and a half to, fix and do. And I'm always trying to be fixing something or the other, because I always think that I've done something or the other wrong, which needs to be fixed, and things are going to get simpler. But that's a constant learning. I'm just obsessed with learning and self-criticizing, not in the way of putting myself down, but the minute I find something that I'm doing wrong, I even if it takes me 3 4 years to come out of it, I start the process. And I think that's the only message we can give. Start the process. Don't be in a hurry that it'll all go away. If I'm cluttered in a cluttered environment, it'll go away. If I'm unable to, catch hold of my child from screen, if you have started the process, just don't think it'll happen
Exactly.
overnight. It'll take
Yes.
time. Everything takes time. Coming back takes time. Confidence takes time.
True.
Living takes time. It's all slow, slow, slow. Nothing
So
grows.
slow. Very, very nicely said. Really slow, especially when it comes to kids.
Yes.
You know, as you know, from babies, they are like teenagers and adolescents, and that's a growing phase for them. And you cannot, they are shouting back, you are shouting back. You need to be taking a pause and understanding the situation, what that person or what that child is going through.
Yes.
The raging hormones, and all of us have gone through that. All of us have backfired it to our mothers and fathers, and I mean, it's the hormones raging. So several things. I think just
Sleepless
calm it
nights,
down.
hormones, yeah. Sleepless nights as well. Mothers
Yes,
go through, yes.
true, rightly said.
Yeah. No, it was just going. I'm a mother in the situation who's still breastfeeding and coming out. So I was just adding in an excited way that is their hormones, and then there's sleepless nights that go through, that you feel agitated. And see, my agitation has brought this project out. If we
Hmm.
can get an agitation to become something better, what better than that?
But you said it so nicely just now that you are not putting yourself down, but you are into that learning process. So kind of upgrading, but not taking a stress of it.
Right.
Let it happen, but okay, fine, I would like to see myself over there, and I would like to take it slowly. There's no tension, there's no deadline ki mere ko abhi karna hi hai, 2 months from now I have to take it there. So there's no stress about it, because we are playing several roles.
Right.
We are not just doing that. I love taking care of my house, I love being with my husband, I love talking to the helpers who come to my house, spending a little time there, listening to them. They have a lot of things to share, what goes on in their life.
Right.
And I love being with my children. Still, I love putting them to sleep, although they just kick me out. Okay, fine, we are elders, we are big boys now. Just go off, we can sleep ourselves. But I say, kabhi kabar, let me come, and I would love to just hug you and be there, dono ke beech mein, like how it used to be when they were very, very young. I was in between and both of them on both sides. And I still sometimes feel that I want to do that, and they just sometimes kick me off, but sometimes they do welcome me.
Yeah.
It's
No,
fun. It's fun.
it is. And this is a beautiful conversation. Let's manifest your dream out, because this book is called 100 Self Portrait, 100 Dreams. Let's put your dream out, and I will release you, because you have better things waiting for you, and uplifting many, many women in the next seminar. So let's talk about your dream, and then I will release you only for today. But you're coming into this group of being a mom, and we'll have many conversations.
Yes, definitely. I would also, whenever I get time, I would love to hear the other interviews also, which you are taking, so bringing all those women and listening to their stories is also so much empowering to hear how women went through. Every woman has her own story, so as you also shared your story. So every woman is like coming from a different background. You said some childhood trauma or some learning or something where but she's shown, she did come back.
Yes.
That hearing that is so inspiring sometimes.
Yes. Yes. And I
I
say 100 shades of mothers, but I think there are billions of shades of mothers, and I'm just bringing
actually,
100. I'm
yes,
bringing 100. And I'm not saying that these are the 100 only, and I'm not saying these are the 100 which will this thing, but at least it's a good beginning to say these 100 mothers did it, we'll do it as well. So,
yes. I think
what's your dream?
the vision that you have, seeing more mother getting empowered, seeing more mother also being able to do what they want to do. I think my dream is a little bit similar, where I want to see every mother enjoy her pregnancy journey.
Right.
Every mother enjoying that time during her phase, which she thinks is important to her, but once she goes into it, she forgets to enjoy, and she's lots into anxiety and stress and questioning and doubts. And would I have high blood pressure? Would I have a cesarean? Would I have a normal baby? And several other anxieties that clutter her mind, although she has been looking forward for this journey. So I think my dream there is no 100 or 1,000 about it. My dream is to just see every woman enjoying her pregnancy. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's amazing. And before I leave you, I will tell you what I heard by a pediatrician when I became a mom for the first time. And he's a three-generation pediatrician in Delhi. And he was all of 70 when I went to him. And of course, my child had cold. And I wanted to go to him because of whatever reason. He says, don't come to me before 7 days. If after 7 days a cold exists, then come back to me. Otherwise, don't come to me. And I had all of like 2.5 month old in my hand. And I said, what are you, like, at least give me some solution. And she's like, there's no solution. In 7 days, if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, then come back to me and tell me something is wrong. Okay. So I was like, fine. And then I called him. I was like, he's all fine in 7 days. It was just a viral or whatever. And then he just told me a beautiful thing that you can carry to a lot of these mothers who are expecting, because that gave me a lot of power. And he said, when a mother is born, a whole encyclopedia is downloaded onto her that tells her exactly what to do with her child, just like in nature. You don't have to tell a cat, take the child from here and save her. You don't have to say, lick her if she's got some wound. You don't have to say, clean her by doing this. You don't have to say, when to feed her. You don't have to say, protect her. An encyclopedia is downloaded in every mom. In fact, even on fathers, but we fathers have totally lost the control over it. But every mother has the encyclopedia, and just follow that encyclopedia and believe in it rather than questioning it all the time. Is it okay? Or somebody else should tell you, because a cow doesn't tell a monkey what to do with a monkey baby. Simple,
Yeah,
right?
true. Wow.
And this rooted me, and I became very confident, though I became overconfident because I never heard, like, I just knew, like, when I knew he needs to be rushed to the hospital, he's bronchital and he needs help, and everybody said I was getting hyper. That was, in the end, it was like, yes, he was getting a bronchital attack. He needed a nebulizer immediately. And I was told that I was just being crazy, that it's just a little cough. But I could hear his breathing was not normal. And there are times when he had 104 fever, I am no medicine person, and I'm carrying him and I'm putting the cold pack, and I knew he will be okay. And the next day he was standing and running and playing. So that's the encyclopedia that I trusted a lot of times. And sometimes I was scared because I was thinking, am I risking my child's life? But that encyclopedia saved me. So that's one gift that passed on to me. I'm passing it on to you to tell to your mothers that you're totally down
Thank
with
you.
it.
Yeah, yeah. It is ultra helpful.
Yes.
Telling a mother that you have an instinct of your own.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to believe it and talk to people and ask people, ask Google, ask your friends and several, and get cluttered yourself?
Yes.
What is it that you feel right now? Why wouldn't you want to use it first?
Yes.
So confidence thoda badhana padta. Yes, that's amazing.
I can talk to you for so long because it's an interesting conversation, but please go ahead. And I totally love the fact you're part of this book, because we're going to get you in panel discussions and all in the future, and it would be interesting to meet mothers across the world. Welcome to this book, Doctor. And I telling you honestly, I have these other 4-5 layers of questions which are hanging in there, but we don't have time, and the interviews are getting longer. So I shall see you soon. I will hand you over to one of the pillars who will call you, and she will take you through the process of how to be part of this book. Tomorrow we are getting together with 42 or 43 mothers together for the first time to meet each other and in breakouts rooms. So it would be lovely if you can also join. I will send you the details once we leave.
Yes.
And all the mothers across the world will meet each other for the first time before 100 of them meet together on the day of the launch.
Wow,
So,
great plans.
yeah. Take care. Lots
Thank
of
you so
love
much.
and more power to you. You're just awesome. Just amazing. You're an
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Bye bye.
So don't go off. I'm just going off live stream right now.
All right. All right.
Then I will say bye-bye to